All right, it looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero with a quick weather update for the forecast ahead, but also a look back at the aftermath from the blizzard of 2017 in the Northeast this year. So some areas did get quite a bit of snow, others not so much. Others just got some rain and wind, and some also got that dangerous kind of sleety mix. So we're going to take a look at everything, and first I do want to start by taking a look at the radar image right now. So this is showing the low pressure system's pretty much just off, almost out of the U.S. over Maine. This little like streaks of some snow showers and flurries coming down, that's on the backside of the low pressure system, because remember, the northern hemisphere, all low pressure systems rotate this counterclockwise. So this is pulling in pretty cold air from the north, but also this lingering moisture is making all of this having kind of like a snow effect. It's called wraparound snow. So this is something that's fairly common with low pressure systems throughout the Northeast. So little notification there, cleared that, all right. So we're gonna have some areas with the higher snow, some not. So I do wanna show you from the National Weather Service this public information statement. There's quite a bit of numbers here that I'm going to show up and down around. If you do want to look this up, it's right on weather.gov/OKX for this website. This is for the Upton office. One of the biggest numbers I do want to show you that I found was from New York, specifically in Orange County, New York. This is from, where is it there? Middletown, New York. Middletown and also Otisville there. Look at these guys. They got 24 inches of snow, and this is all just, and it tells what type of information or where it came from the public. So this is you guys out there just sending in all the data. Us meteorologists love to hear from everybody. And I'm also still curious to see what all of you got out there. So we did get 24 inches there. Others north of Orange County, I did see some numbers right around 35 inches. Nothing really confirmed, but that is very possible with the intensity of the moisture that was a bit more northwest of the tri-state area. Some areas did get a little bit less, so like some of the lower numbers here. Let's see if we can find one from Long Island. Let me see here if I can find here, Suffolk County. So in Suffolk County, it wasn't as bad with the snow total. Smithtown, some areas there, Upton, right around, say, 2 to 4.5 inches. Nothing too much, but there was also that little bit of a sleety mix, which is not good. So beyond looking at just snow totals, meteorologists also look at something called hindcasting. That's a form of forecasting, but it's looking into the past for forecasting, determining what model was the most accurate and why the ones that were not accurate underperformed. So the first one I do want to show you here is the GFS, and this is the model run from what looks like at about 8 a.m. on Sunday. So this is what we were originally thinking here. This low pressure center, you can see a little L there, was going to be a bit more east, around what I said last week, which was that 70-40 benchmark, which is kind of like the prime way to get a lot of snow coming into all of the Northeast. So this was going to show an all snow event. Another one that came from Sunday morning on the NAM. This is one that I kind of changed my initial snow totals and upped them a little bit in some areas. This also had that low pressure center east. However, it wasn't as east as the GFS zone, that pink there. You can kind of see, say, from like Toms River, Belmar, a bit south, a little bit of mixing. And also far east on Long Island, it was showing this pretty heavy rain. Nothing really in terms of sleet, but it was showing mostly the heavy rain with a little bit of mixing for eastern Long Island and all snow New York City and areas north and west of New York City. The next one I'm going to show you, this is the Canadian model. And this is one that usually I disregard, but this one performed pretty well. This one you could see clearly the low pressure system was much closer. It was Sunday morning it ran the data. So this is quite a couple days out, and it was one of the more accurate ones. This is showing in the yellows that little bit of a rain freezing line, making it more northwest, showing some mixing over New York City there. Eastern Long Island also saw a bit more mixing on this one than just plain rain. And then some areas along very south in the Jersey Shore did just see rain, so this one is fairly accurate. The next one, this is more of a, think of it as a higher resolution version of the Canadian model. This one's called the RGEM. It's also showing this low pressure center being much more west than originally anticipated on the GFS and the NAM. So this one's also showing a little bit of that mixing up there, and the mixing was even going as far north as, say, southern Westchester and southern Rockland County, but it's also showing the dark blues once you get into Orange County, Putnam, Dutchess, Ulster, Sullivan up there, much heavy snow. So this one was one of the more accurate ones. And the last one I'm going to show you, this is from the European model. The European model was showing the low pressure center, let's say it's about here, which was a bit more east, and that's what the worst case scenario for the snow totals, but not the one that was actually accurate. However, it's showing, you kind of think of this as the freezing line, this thick dark blue line. It was showing it's starting to trend a little bit more west. However, the low pressure center was still east of the two Canadian models. So that one was kind of a mixed bag, but definitely the Canadian model. Let me just bring that up one more time. This was one of the more accurate ones here. So interesting to see this model that outperformed the others. Let me see. I don't think it had, no, this one didn't really have snow totals, but some of the other models underperformed, some models outperformed, including this one. It's interesting to see which ones are accurate, which ones are not. And this is probably going to become case studies for quite a long time to show which models did different and which ones did better. So not to bore you too much with meteorology, but getting really nitty gritty with it, each forecast model takes the same initial data that comes from the launching of the weather balloons up into the air. That data gets processed differently. It's little computers, computer programmers that are sitting there programming all these giant supercomputers differently. So this is getting a bit advanced into calculus and calculus-based physics and atmospheric chemistry. Not going to bore you too much with that, but the variables that these programs run are different. That's why some are better, some are worse. And it's interesting to see the GEM is usually, the Canadian one is not the most accurate, except this time. It looked pretty accurate. So this was just a little update on what we're going to be doing in terms of case studies with the blizzard of 2017 that came through yesterday. Looking ahead, are we going to be seeing any more wintry weather, even though it's getting into late winter and spring is next week? Well, it's possible. So I'm going to show you on my 7-day forecast. Tomorrow doesn't look too bad. Thursday is going to be still a little cold, but it's definitely going to be windy. Then going into Friday, St. Patrick's Day, we're going to be having a high of about 42, partly sunny, so a little bit warmer. Then on Saturday, 43 for a high, but we're going to be seeing this kind of rain, snow, wintry mix again. It's not going to be too much. If there is any snow accumulation from this, it looks to only be like 1, maybe 2 inches, so nothing too much there. And beyond that, we're seeing a little bit warmer for Sunday, maybe some lingering flurries, but still temperatures right around the mid-40s. Monday, I should say, is the first day of spring, but it's not going to feel too spring-like with a high of 42. Overnight Monday into Tuesday, we'll be seeing some showers and then more steady showers throughout the day on Tuesday, but temperatures are going to be in the upper 40s, maybe near 50, so it'll feel a bit more spring-like. But then for Wednesday, once the rain makes its way through, that is associated with a cold front. The cold front will be dropping temperatures again to right around 38 degrees for Wednesday, but it's not going to look too bad in terms of precipitation. So March is a transitional month. We're going to be seeing this kind of, like last week we were in the 60s. This week we had a blizzard. Next week we're going to be in the 40s to maybe 50 degrees. So this roller coaster of weather conditions is kind of what's expected for March. April becomes a bit more steady. Then when we get May, June, that's just straight summer. And I'm looking forward to the upper 60s to the low 70s. That's my favorite temperature. So we're going to get through March with this little roller coaster transitional month, and then it'll start to get a little bit better. So this is meteorologist Andrew Pinero, just with a little a kind of interesting view of the blizzard, kind of the aftermath of the blizzard, and a little forecast for you for the next weekend, maybe going a little into the future, maybe a future beyond next week, a bit more of seasonable, maybe 50s. So stay tuned. If you want to subscribe, I'll be keeping you guys updated with all the weather throughout the tri-state. If you want to leave comments, suggestions, I'll take and read through all of those for you guys. Have a great evening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.